For nearly a century, the global economic order relied on American stability. But over the last several years, sudden shifts in trade policy and abandoned treaties have disrupted the predictable flow of goods and capital. Donald Trump brought an America First strategy to the White House. His approach to international relations is transactional, relying on sudden impulses and public threats that often catch both allies and adversaries off guard. Beijing learned this early on. Just months after hosting Trump for a lavish state visit, Chinese leadership was stunned when his administration launched a massive trade war, targeting billions in Chinese goods with surprise tariffs. This style sits in direct contrast to China's president, Xi Jinping. She is guarded and methodical, a leader who prioritizes a generational long game over the quick transactional wins favored in Washington. On Chinese social media, this unpredictability made Trump a figure of fascination. Citizens even gave him nicknames like Taco, short for Trump always chickens out, and Trump the Nation Builder, a joke suggesting his policies were inadvertently helping China consolidate its own power. While the noise of the trade war dominated headlines, the volatile posture from the US handed Beijing a strategic opening. It provided the necessary excuse to begin decoupling from the American economy while presenting China to the world as the stable adult in the room. The first trade war served as an expensive lesson for Beijing. It proved that total reliance on the American consumer base was a massive vulnerability that could be weaponized at any moment. This chart of Chinese trade data illustrates the immediate impact of US tariffs. Last year, exports bound for the United States plummeted by 20%. To compensate, Chinese manufacturers redirected their goods to other emerging markets. This pivot drove exports to India up by 12.8% over the same period. They expanded this strategy globally. Shipments to Southeast Asia rose 13.5%, while exports to the European Union climbed 8.4% as Beijing hunted for new buyers. By spreading their goods across multiple continents, they effectively absorbed the shock from Washington. China ended the year with a record-breaking global trade surplus of $1.2 trillion. The attempt to financially isolate China backfired. Instead of shrinking, Beijing built a more resilient, diversified export network that no longer requires the American consumer to stay afloat. Finding new customers was a defensive necessity, but Beijing also prepared an offensive counterstrike. They focused on their chokehold over the very start of the global supply chain. These charts show the reality of the rare earth mineral sector. Through decades of industrial focus, China now controls 60% of global mining and over 90% of the refining process for these materials. Beijing weaponized this monopoly by implementing strict export controls. They restricted the flow of 7 specific rare earth minerals and the high-strength magnets manufactured from them. This restriction hits the heart of American advanced manufacturing. These magnets are essential components in everything from iPhones and electric vehicle motors to the guidance systems of F-35 fighter jets. The entire rare earth market is worth less than $10 billion, a fraction of the global economy. Yet, by controlling it, Beijing created a strategic trump card, capable of paralyzing the world's most advanced industrial and military sectors. But China's international maneuvers mask a crumbling domestic foundation. Behind the image of a rising superpower, the internal economy is struggling with deep systemic rot. The crisis is the result of years of reckless borrowing. Local governments and developers took on massive debt to fund infrastructure projects and housing developments far beyond what the country actually needed. The results are ghost towns of empty properties and bridges to nowhere. These unfinished apartment blocks represent billions in wasted capital and a real estate sector that has completely outpaced actual demand. This oversupply of goods and housing, coupled with weak consumer spending, has triggered a deflationary spiral. Prices at home are falling, forcing Beijing to set its GDP growth target at its lowest level since 1991. For the Chinese population, this means widespread pay cuts and layoffs. Millions of young adults are entering a stagnant job market, often forced into low-paying gig work with no long-term security. China's export push serves as an economic relief valve for this overproduction. Because domestic demand is too weak to buy what their factories turn out, they flood international markets with low-priced goods to keep their industrial base from collapsing. This forces competitors in other countries to slash their own prices to stay relevant. effectively exporting China's domestic deflation to the rest of the world. Despite using its economic weight to buy influence, Beijing's power projection has strict limits. Unlike the United States, China remains unwilling to commit military forces to protect its interests far from home. Iran and Venezuela are prime examples. China provides an essential economic lifeline by purchasing their oil, but Beijing has never committed to defending either regime if they face a military conflict. This reluctance exposes a massive geographic vulnerability. China relies on the Strait of Hormuz for nearly half of its oil imports. If a regional war closed that single choke point, China's industrial machine would quickly run out of fuel. Looking past trade numbers, China is not yet a superpower equal to the United States. Its military reach is limited, and its domestic economy is far more fragile than it appears on the surface. This leaves the rest of the world in a precarious middle ground, with the US becoming an unreliable partner and China facing internal instability. Smaller nations are turning to hedging, refusing to choose a side and playing both superpowers against each other just to survive.